Hi, your Storytime TV. I'm Isaac DeSoto, and I have an embarrassing story to tell. I mean, like this story is so embarrassing. I almost can't believe it myself. I mean, it's like through a whole chain of events, an entire day of just embarrassing moments. So I don't know. I guess this is around 2014. I guess a while back though, when I was just starting to go do auditions and find casting calls on my own. I was headed to Culver City um, via the bus, and I was on my way to an audition, and my bus pulls up at the stop. I didn't have to wait too long. I was sitting in front of a car dealership where I was like fascinated that the car doors were unlocked at the car dealer. So I was like, checking a few cars out. Then my bus pulls up, so I get on the bus, and as I get on the bus, I notice that there's not too many people on the bus, which was surprising, being that I was in Culver City, California, where they have all these studios and these nice loft to like condo apartments. So I go, so I find the first seat I can grab on the bus and I sit down and I look left and I'm like, oh wow, somebody left their trash on the bus. So, it's a black bag and it's tied closed. Looks like it has like a beer can in it. Somebody probably drank a beer on the bus or whatever. And as I pick it up, I'm like, wow, there's a beer in here. Somebody forgot their beer. And I open the bag and I look at it. I'm like, wow, that's a full beer can, and there's like some pills in a pill container. I'm like, I hope this isn't someone's heart medicine. But I can tell by the coldness of the beer that they had just recently had probably forgotten that and exited the bus without thinking of it. So I mean, I'm no saint, I'm no perfect person. So I drank the beer. I probably should have taken it to the front of the bus, like, hey, is anyone asking about a beer and some pills? But I don't know. I said they'll probably loosen me up for my audition. So yeah, I drank the beer. I get off the bus. I throw the empty can into the trash, and for whatever reason, I put the pills in my pocket, and I went to my audition. So I walk about a block to the audition, and I get there, and it's like in this. It's in one of those condos I was talking about, but it's in like the party area, the pool lounge room or whatever, and I have to knock on the door. It's locked, and it says auditions for the film that it was. And I was like, okay, so this is it, and I knock, and I'm like, just twist it. I twist the doorknob, and as soon as I open the door, the first step I take, I fell flat on my face. I tripped over the floorboard. I guess it's a little higher than usual, and I literally bit it. And as I push myself up in a push-up position, I yell out, "You know what? You need a bad guy like me, so you can point the finger and say that's the bad guy," which was the slide for the audition that they offered to the people answering the casting call. And the producers were like laughing their asses off. I almost shed a tear because I'm like, you're not laughing at Tony Montana, you're laughing at me falling. So I finally get to my feet, and I read the line again, and they're like, they're still kind of laughing. They're like, okay, that's cool, but yeah, and I 10 minutes later, I'm like, thank you, I'm out of here, and I leave. So, I at the time I was living in a city called Paramount, California, which if you're driving, I guess Paramount, even in traffic, is about 45 minutes away from Culver City. But if you're catching the metro and the bus and all that, like I was at the time, it's about 3 hours away. So I take my ride back home, on the bus. And by the time I get back to Paramount, and get off of I think it's the Lakewood Station Green Line right there, I had missed my bus that takes me right in front of my house by about 5 minutes. And, I'm like, damn. I'm like, I gotta walk 5 miles now for missing this bus. So just as I get my feet in motion, I head towards, my house, head down the street towards my house. There's like this blinding headlight just flashing in my face. I'm like, why would anyone be turned this way on this street when it goes, it goes north south? It's light shining east west. And just as I turn around and see what's going on, an officer says, "What are you doing? What are you doing walking down the street this late?" And I'm like, "Nothing, sir. I'm actually getting off the train. I'm heading home. I missed my bus." He's like, "Oh yeah? Well, he says, let me talk to you for a second. Just for a second. Not under arrest." I'm like, "Okay." And, he goes on to ask me some more common questions. I'm like, all right, whatever. And just as I begin to answer some of the questions, I put my hand in my pockets and I'm like, oh no. I said this to myself, oh no, these pills are in here. I don't know what these pills are. These pills are in my pocket. And at this point, I begin like sweating and acting nervous. And, he's like, why are you looking like that? And he's like, come here. He's like, put your hands on the car. And I put my hands on the car. He passed me down. First pocket he reaches into, boom, jackpot. These foreign pills that I found on the bus with a bag of beer that I drank earlier before an audition that probably cost me an audition for being clumsy and drunk and tripping over a doorstep. But anyway, he cuffs me, he throws me in the back of the car. And like between 5 and 10 minutes pass, all I can see is him looking through his computer on, in the dash and, going through like different varieties of like pills and things like that. And I'm like, whoa, I'm like, I hope this isn't anything serious, but it looks serious. And I'm like, at this point, I've got my head down. I'm like, I'm going to jail for drugs that I don't even know what they are. And, he looks him up after a second. He's like, how old are you? And I'm like, sir, I'm 27 years old. And he starts laughing. And I'm like, oh, like at this point my heart drops because I'm thinking like, if he's gonna tell me I'm gonna be locked up until I'm 37, then I need to cry right now. And he's like, what are you doing with 50 Viagra pills in a container in your pocket that don't even have your name on them? I'm like, Viagra? I don't know, sir. He was like, where did you get these from? I said, I'm not gonna lie, I found them on the bus earlier when I was in Culver City and I had meant to turn them in, but I forgot. I put them in my pocket. And he's like, well, okay. And he gets out of the car, he opens my door, he pulls me out, and he grabs the cuffs and he takes them off me. And he tells me, get the rest of my stuff and get out of here. Oh, wait, one more thing. Before you take off, take these pills, pour them on the ground, and step on them. I'm like, okay. I step on them, punch them all up into the street. And he's like, and another thing, don't let me find you with any Viagra pills like that for at least another 10 or 15 years. And I'm like, oh my God, they were freaking Viagra pills. And I'm like, looking down, my whole 5 mile walk home, I'm like bummed out. I'm feeling embarrassed because I'm like, some young cop thinks I'm using Viagra, and then at the same time, whoever saw that is probably laughing their ass off at me, and then I'm thinking like, why not go for the trifecta? One more embarrassing thing before I get to the house, right? Like, what could happen next? Fortunately, nothing else happened, and I made it home safe without another embarrassing moment. And I slept with that day in thought. Whoever left that fucking beer in that bag in that fucking bus, you fucked up my day. Isaac DeSoto, I'm out of here.